Hello friends, I will introduce you to the Visual Basic feature of Microsoft Word and we will use it together. On the Visual Basic feature, we click on Developer from the top tabs. There is a Visual Basic button on the far left. We click on it. As you can see, a window opens like this. If you have the Developer tab as in My Word. If not, click on File Options. We click on the Customize ribbon and in the window that opens, the Developer tab box will most likely appear empty. You click on it first. If you cannot see any on the right side, that is, under the main tabs, we create main tabs from the screen on the left, click on the Developer tab, click Add and when it is added to the right side, we select it again. Now, if we go back to the Visual Basic window. As you can see, when I click on the Word button in our Visual Basic window, we go back to Word. Here we have options such as User Form Module and Class Module. I have a Save button, a Run button, a Break button and a Reset button. Again, Design Mode Project Explorer Properties window and Object Browser. A window like this. We will talk about these two. Again, there is a File tab on the top tab of our Visual Basic window. From here, we can import a file containing our codes. There is a Save button and we can print it from the printer. There is also an Edit tab. In the Edit tab, there are options such as Cut, Copy, Paste, Clear Find. In the View, you can open this window again. You shape it yourself, for example, when you come to the View window and click on Object Browser, a window like this opens. When I click on Project Explorer from the View window, the window I just prepared opens. We also have other options. Properties are very important in Windows. You will see this in this video. Insert again in the same way. We can add User Form Module, Class Module, Procedure Operations from Insert and at the same time we call File. So if we have a ready code, we can add it. There are also different options in the format. Debug Run tab. You will see it a lot in this video. Tools tab we will talk about in this video. Add-ins again, Word is different. There is an Add-ins Visual Basic window, such as the feature of adding applications. From here, we can also add different Microsoft agreed applications to our Visual Basic window. Now, I mentioned the User Form Module, Class Module. As you can see on the project screen, there are module and other options. Because I only added the module, there is a module window. Now I'm adding one module and let's write our first code. Now friends, of course, Visual Basic is a programming language and its rules. I will not talk about them in this video. If I open a training channel, I will talk about them in a very long and detailed way. Here, I will only talk briefly about the things we spend a lot of time on. Using technology, the technology in this video is Visual Basic. How can we make it faster? So, the only thing I will talk about in this code is that as you can see at the beginning, I wrote sub while giving the title. While you are writing a code, even if manually, your head will be written sub in manual codes, and then you give a name. When you give a name, it automatically starts. Sub appears at the bottom, so you write sub, you give it a name, two codes are created. You need to write the additional code you will write between these two headings. Now, for example, what does this code do? I click on the Run button immediately. As you can see, a small window called MessageBox opens and we write the codes in this way. We have seen the text. Now I am changing the text in our MessageBox. Now I wrote a different text in our MessageBox. I run it consisting of 2 words. As you can see, a small window opened for the text I wrote in the MessageBox. I say OK. Now let's write another code. Now friends, I wrote a different code. I wrote sub again and I assigned a name to the title of my code, and it automatically occurred in the same way. I added a string between these two titles and created a code like this. This code, friends, will show your username that you have defined to Microsoft on your computer, and when you add this code to any computer, that computer's username defined to Microsoft. You can see the name and I have just created a message box like before, that is, this code will show me the username as a message box in a small window. Now I say run it again. As you can see, the name is automatically shown as the computer name defined by Microsoft. Here I just wrote username, I did not specify any name or the name in the message box. I didn't specify it, I just wrote the codes. I said, can you show me the username of the computer as a message box? I ran it again, as you can see, the name of the computer appeared, and this is our second code. Friends, now in the macro video, I mentioned that we can get the codes from the macro to make our work easier and faster by accessing the ready-made codes. Now, click on the Word button in the Visual Basic window and enter Word. I'm going back here, I'm making a record macro. Here, we saw how to use the shortcut keys in our macro video. It doesn't create a shortcut. My macro will be recorded now, with the name macro1. I say OK. My macro has started recording. I say File. I say Save As. I say this PC. I come to the C drive. Here I created a folder under my name on the C drive. I click on it, I change the Word document to PDF from the bottom and I rename it and say Save. Then I stop my macro, I come to the Visual Basic window again, I click on the New Macros section. What was the name of the operation we just created in the macro? Macro 1. This is the codes created by the macro. What did we just do? We wrote different codes for MessageBox and we wrote codes for username. What did the macro write? It gave us the codes to save the PDF to my folder on C drive. Now I change the PDF named 1 in my folder extension to 2 and click Run. As you can see, I can use the codes I got from the macro in this way with a small change. So of course you need to know Visual Basic. I will be uploading many videos about Visual Basic on my training channel. Visual Basic coding rules are as follows, but I took the codes from the macro. So, do I need to write the codes for saving the PDF here? No, let's try one more now. This is in the Visual Basic window. This time I defined the PDF as 3. I click on Run and as you can see, I have a PDF number 3 on my C drive. So, will I always run these ready-made codes in the Visual Basic window like this? I click on the Word button again. There are macro forms here. From here I add the Command button to Word. As you can see, I click again in the same way. Just now, when I specified sub and name, a code rule consisting of n sub was created. Here Visual Basic automatically created it. When I double-click the Command button, the macro comes up. From here, I Ctrl-C the ready-made codes I got from the macro and double-click the Command button. I paste it between the codes that occur when I click on it. I adjusted the ready-made codes I got from the macro in this way. Now I name the PDF as 4 this time and close the window. I come to Word. Look, my macro codes are the same folder extension. I don't save it as PDF. I didn't change anything. So I convert the PDF to Word. I didn't change anything like save as document, I just changed the name. While design mode is on, the Command button does not work. When you close it, I now click on the Command button. As you can see, PDF number 4 is created. What did I just do here? I clicked on the Command button. I made the PDF 4. Now I am making the PDF 5. As you can see, my codes are among the Command button headings. Now I just change the name PDF. I come to Word again. What did we name our PDF? 5. I click on the Command button. As you can see, PDF number 5 was created. In other words, I can also add the ready-made codes I got from the macro into a button. Well, I'm very busy at work. We're going to talk about a project soon. I even forget to press the button for that project. Then we come to Visual Basic. Here we have 3 options. General. The screen where we can write the codes I just entered manually. Command button. So, for example, there is a text box here where you can use these forms. When I add the text box to Word and click on it to enter the text box, it will say text box, not command button. That means I can write code using these buttons. Our third option is document. Friends, in Word, this file is called New Open or in the interface like the close button. Let me show you an example of our codes related to operations. Again, I take the codes recorded by the macro from the macro, I do Ctrl+C, I select close from the right screen instead of document new. To be more practical, as you can see, the code with two headings is created. I add the ready-made codes I got from the macro between the two headings. I make the PDF 6. We changed the name of our PDF to 6. This time our codes concern the Word interface, like close file, open, save as. Our option that concerns the interface was added to the codes and the name of our PDF is 7. Now I press the close button. Word closes, but it is created in the PDF folder number 7. So even if I forget the button, I press the close button by using the document option in the Visual Basic window and using the options here. When the PDF is created, as you can see, friends, Visual Basic is more functional than you expected, and at the same time, as you can see, we have dozens more options among the right options on the right screen. We will show these in our future videos as we make projects. I think you understand now, with an example from business life. Let me show you how the codes we just used are. I will try to show that it can be transformed in practice. My scenario here is as follows. I am a cash register manager in a retail company and my managers ask me for sales charts and sales figures every hour, and what do? It could be people. I write their emails one by one, add attachments and present my Word document as a report to my managers every hour. Of course, if I try for 5 minutes every hour, it really takes effort, so save the file, then add the emails of the people in the email, add the attachment of the file to the email again, find it in the folder and perform these operations. It takes a long time. Now we will look at how we can speed up this process with the Visual Basic codes we have just learned. Now, of course, as I said at the beginning of the video, I will not teach you the Visual Basic codes. There will be an explanation of how you can get the Visual Basic codes in short form. Here, Copilota will help me with Microsoft Word. I made a sentence asking if you could write the automatic email sending codes. I press the send button, Copilot wrote me the codes directly. I do Ctrl+C, I come to Word again, from the Developer tab, I create a button as we just did, I click on the button, I add the codes I got from Copilot among the codes created by the button. Now friends, I think you have noticed the error here. If you watch the video carefully, it will give an error because there are two titles. What are we doing here? I will use the command button. As you can see here, I delete those titles and add them between the two titles. Now, the two operations we will do here are which PDFs. I was saving it to the folder, I take this, I do Ctrl+C and I add the codes I got from Copilot to the file path section here and I add my file name as document, I specify it as document, then I add the email address of the person I will send to here. If the person you will send is 20 people, I add a comma and quotation marks here. You can add the emails by adding the email addresses of the emails by adding them to CC between the quotation marks and BCC between the quotation marks. These texts were written automatically by Copilot, and as you see me, let me give you a little tip about Visual Basic with small notes. Green texts are not counted as code. It's just counted as notes. Copilota wrote me his notes again, determines the document path, says open the file, meaning I need to save our file in the folder we specified, and it says it will be opened from there. Again, it says set up the emails. In the Setup Emails section, there is Tools, there is Reference. Here, friends, you need to add the Microsoft Office 16.0 object library from here. There are options as you can see here, you need to find and add them from here. This process is only related to mail codes and you will need it when doing work related to Visual Basic Mail. As you can see, I have checked the box, I say OK, if you check this, it may cause an error. If we do not check it, we will do it simply. Our codes are ready in this way, so when we get it from Copilot, we will do it immediately. We don't need to do anything extra right away. Just pay attention to the file path and the issues that you need to write the emails correctly. Everything else is correct, we just copy-paste. Now I come to the Word again. What did I do? I added a command button. Now, we Copilot our codes into the command button. I added it and made a small adjustment to this command button. I also changed the name of the command button. Everything is ready. My Outlook is open and I click on the command button. As you can see, my email was sent first. As you can see here. Now, friends, I don't know if you noticed. After I send an email, Word automatically opens. Because as you can see, Word has left a note here and created a code to close Word after the process. What will you do, for example, to learn the codes a little, by trial and error method? When you delete this place, for example, you can try it. What kind of result do you see? Now friends, it's our second hour. Our administrator again. We need to report the sales figures. I am writing the numbers here and you see our first email. This is now marked as red. Now I have changed the numbers. I am sending the second email. As you can see, our second email has arrived. I click on the file. Yes, friends, Visual Basic is our first project, automatic email sending. This is how I showed you the process by email. Now, my second scenario will be as follows. I will make a sales presentation in 3 days. I will also make a sales presentation about how the increase is quarterly, daily, and hourly. There is a problem with cybersecurity in the company, that is, passwords and usernames have been stolen. There is a tension in the company about this. I also have a problem with this tension. In order to show that I am a practical solution and that I am sensitive and careful about this issue, I come to the Visual Basic user form and click on it. As you can see, there is a text box here. I added one, I add the second one, I add labels, I wrote username as my first label, and I wrote password in the second one. Then I come to Copilot again, I say Copilot, it tells me user in the Word document. I ask if you can write on the form where it can perform the and password operations. I click on send, I get the codes, I do Ctrl+C. Now friends, Copilot wrote 3 codes for me as you can see, it is ready as you can see in my user form. I right-click on the user form and say properties, I set the name of our form as login form and I named our user form properties as you can see. I changed my first code, then let's see, I click on run again from above. As you can see, we have a form like this. You can design it better. We have a username. We have a password. And now we can use them. As you can see, we have codes here. Username has written the name we will enter and our password has been written. Copilot has written the username and password. If we entered it correctly, this will be our message box. If we entered it wrong, we will see a message box saying an error has been given. This is presented to us with a simple coding. Now we have a window that creates our username and password. Yes, friends, as you can see, Visual Basic can perform many different operations and fast operations that will make our work easier. I will present our login form project to you in a more detailed and useful form in the next video. Take care, see you in the next video.